Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're heading straight into the heart of Bollywood.
Ooh, Bollywood.
Yeah, but we're not just talking about the glitz and glam.
I was gonna say, there's gotta be more to it.
Oh, there is. We're going deep into some scandals, like the ones that really shook things up. Careers changed forever kind of
I'm going
scandals.
crazy.
Right. Our source is this article from ET Online. It's called Scandals That Destroyed Bollywood Celebs' Career.
The title's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no kidding. It was published May 20, 2024. And let me tell you, these stories, they show that even in a world like Bollywood, real life can come crashing down.
I mean, it makes sense. That much fame, that much pressure.
Exactly. And the article, it dives into how these scandals, they really expose like the power dynamics in the film industry.
Oh yeah, that whole thing of who's got the power and who's trying to make it big.
Totally. Think about all those actors, actresses, all wanting their big break.
And some people have the power to make that happen. Or not.
Yeah, it's a recipe for,
Drama.
drama. Big time.
Already hooked.
Me too. Okay, so the article focuses on 7 Bollywood celebrities. Their careers tanked. And for different reasons, too. Criminal charges, crazy sting operations.
Wow, they really ran the gamut.
Yeah. First up, we've got Shiney Ahuja.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that name.
Maybe from movies like Gangster or Wolam Hey. He was like a rising star. Late 2000s, things were looking good.
And then
Then 2009 hit. And he was accused of a very serious crime.
Oh, right. This was the,
Yeah, his domestic help accused him of rape.
Right, that's heavy.
It led to his arrest and conviction.
And I mean, regardless of the legal process, that kind of accusation, it sticks with you.
Yeah, totally. He was released on bail later,
Yeah.
but the public, their perception of him, it totally changed.
It makes you wonder about, well, about domestic workers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Especially in a society where they, sometimes they don't have much of a voice.
Right. Do you think this case changed how people saw them, maybe?
It's a good question. I mean, it certainly highlighted the power imbalances that can exist in households.
It's like this case, it made people see how vulnerable domestic workers can be.
Absolutely. And maybe made people realize that there's a need for like stronger protections,
Yes.
legally and just like societal support.
Makes sense.
So Shiney Ahuja, he did try to make a comeback.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
But the stigma, man, it stuck. It makes you think, can you really separate the art from the artist?
Especially these days with social media and everything.
Right. News travels so fast. Okay, next story. This one, it's about a sting operation. It really sent shockwaves through the whole industry.
Buckle up.
Shakti Kapoor. You'll recognize him. He was known for his character roles, always popping up in movies.
Before we get into it, can we talk about the whole casting couch thing for a sec?
Oh, good point. Yeah, let's explain that.
It's this, well, sometimes it's unspoken, but it's this expectation that actors, especially women, might have to,
Exchange favors.
yeah, to get roles.
Sadly, it happens everywhere, not just in Bollywood.
It's a global problem, unfortunately.
Right. Okay, back to Shakti Kapoor. So this sting operation, they caught him making, let's just say, inappropriate advances
On camera?
on camera to an undercover reporter. She was posing as an aspiring actress.
Classic sting operation.
Right, and it aired nationally. People were outraged.
I bet. It really showed that dark side of the industry, how power can be misused.
And honestly, it happens in other industries too. It's not just Bollywood.
Yeah, that's true. It's like this case, it made people talk about the media, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, this whole sting operation thing, it exposed something bad, but it also raised questions about, journalistic ethics.
Ah, I see. Like, was it entrapment?
Yeah. Where's the line? Is it okay to trick someone, even if it exposes something wrong?
That's a tough one. I don't know. It's definitely something to think about, for sure.
Definitely. It's a debate that comes up a lot in journalism.
Okay, let's move on. Fardin Khan. His career, well, it went off the rails for a different reason. Drugs.
Yeah. Drugs and celebrity, it's like this weird, complicated relationship. People are fascinated by it.
Totally. But his case, it shows how society views drug use, especially for public figures.
It's a different standard for sure.
So 2001, he's caught with cocaine. The media, they went nuts.
Front page news.
Everywhere you looked. And he went to rehab or tried to get back into acting.
But that arrest, it just kind of overshadowed everything.
Right. Like that became his defining moment. It's sad, right? Personal struggles, especially addiction, they can really eclipse someone's talent.
Do you think things would be different now, like if it happened today?
Hmm. That's interesting. We are more open about mental health and addiction now, right?
For sure. But there's still this stigma, especially when it comes to public figures.
Yeah, good point. It can be hard to shake.
I think it's safe to say that in Bollywood, the line between your personal life and your public image, it's practically invisible.
Yeah, it gets blurry, for sure. And the public. Sometimes they can be harsher than any judge and jury.
It's true. It's like their court runs on a whole different schedule. And the rules, forget about it.
Especially now. With social media, it's like everything's amplified, right?
Totally. News travels at the speed of light, opinions are flying everywhere.
And it's all fueled by emotions.
Yeah. So these celebrities, they're constantly under pressure to keep up this perfect image.
Makes you wonder what that does to them, all that scrutiny.
Especially for the ones who are just starting out.
Speaking of Aman Verma, his case, it's an interesting one. It shows how power, it can really mess things up in the industry.
Aman Verma, he was pretty big in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, TV shows, movies, he was doing it all. But then 2005 hits, and bam, the casting couch scandal.
Oh, wow, that's right. I remember that.
There was this video allegedly showing him basically asking for sexual favors.
In exchange for a role.
Exactly.
Yikes.
He denied it, of course. But his reputation.
Toast.
Yeah. And his career took a nosedive. It's a classic example, isn't it? Trust it could vanish so quickly.
And rumors, allegations, they can stick around forever, even if there's no proof.
It makes you think about that question again. Can we separate the art from the artist? Should we?
Man, that's a tough one. No easy answers there.
Right. On the one hand, people should be accountable for their actions. But on the other hand, should we judge someone's entire career based on, I don't know, alleged personal stuff?
Yeah, it's a balancing act, for sure.
It really is. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Mamta Kulkarni. Her story, well, it took a completely different turn. A shocking one.
Mamta Kulkarni, she was huge in the 90s, right? Known for those bold roles.
Exactly. But get this, 2016 rolls around, and she's caught up in this massive drug trafficking case.
Wait, really?
No kidding.
Yeah.
I remember her from back then, but I had no idea this happened.
It was a huge deal. She was named as a suspect in this multi-million-dollar drug bust. Her husband, too, apparently he was a big player in the whole operation.
Well, that's crazy.
She basically became a fugitive, ended her career right there.
Wow, what a turn of events. It's not just about a career tanking, It's a reminder that actions have consequences. Real serious ones.
It makes you think, right? About the choices we make and how they can shape our whole lives.
Like a cautionary tale almost.
Yeah.
From a popular actress to a wanted suspect.
Yeah, it really highlights how anyone, no matter who you are, you can make choices that lead you down a dark path.
Heavy stuff. All right, let's move on. This next story, it's different, but equally impactful. Suraj Pancholi. He came from a Bollywood family, had those connections, and he was starting to make a name for himself. And then tragedy hit.
This one, it's heartbreaking because it involves the loss of a life, and it brings up all these questions about mental health, especially the pressures of fame.
Right. So Suraj, she was dating actress Jia Khan. 2013, she takes her own life.
And he was accused of...
betting her suicide.
Oh, wow.
He denied it, obviously, but the media, they were relentless.
I can imagine. A story like that, it grabs everyone's attention.
It became a national conversation about mental health, especially in the entertainment world, and about how tough it is to have a personal life when you're always in the spotlight.
Absolutely. And he was dealing with all of that while grieving a loss. That's a lot to handle.
Yeah. His career, well, it basically stalled because of all this.
It makes you think about the media's role in all of this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. How much is too much?
Right. We have the right to know, but we also have to be sensitive, report responsibly, especially with delicate topics like suicide.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in the sensationalism.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, we have a responsibility too. As consumers of news, I mean.
Definitely. We have to be critical, think for ourselves.
In this case, it makes you think about the pressure on young actors too.
Oh, yeah. They're thrown into this crazy world, so young, all these expectations, all the scrutiny.
It's got to be tough on their mental health.
It really shows how important it is to have support systems in place in the industry and personally.
For sure. Okay, last story. Monica Bedi. This one, it reveals a whole other side of Bollywood.
A darker side, organized crime.
Exactly. We see these connections in the movies, but in real life, it's not glamorous at all.
Not even a little bit.
So, Monica Bedi, she was a rising star in the 90s. Then her relationship with Abu Salam comes out.
Abu Salam, the underworld don.
The one and only. 2002, they're arrested in Portugal. Forged documents, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, that's intense.
It was huge. Suddenly everyone's talking about the dark underbelly of Bollywood, the dangers of getting mixed up with the wrong people.
In her career.
Over. The association with Salem, the legal trouble, it all caught up with her.
It's another reminder, isn't it? Our personal choices can have a huge impact on our professional lives.
For sure. Especially for young actors. It's easy to get tempted by power, connections.
But those connections, sometimes they come with a heavy price.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. For sure. Okay, so we've covered some heavy stuff today. Scandals, each one highlighting a different issue, a different challenge that comes with fame.
And it's clear, these scandals, they're more than just juicy gossip.
Right. They offer a glimpse into the human side of Bollywood. The vulnerabilities, the complexities, the consequences, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
And they remind us that the price of fame can be pretty steep.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
These stories, they're all about Bollywood, but they kind of touch on these bigger themes.
Oh, for sure. Ambition, temptation, consequences. Those are universal.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think we can see, like, parallels between these scandals and what people in other jobs go through?
Totally. The entertainment industry, it's like this magnifying glass. Things that happen in regular life, they just get blown up bigger in Hollywood.
That makes sense.
And these scandals, they show how important it is to be ethical, to make good choices, to have people you can rely on.
Yeah, that support system is key.
Yeah.
It makes you think, has anything really changed, though? Like in terms of holding celebrities accountable?
I think so. We're in a whole different world now compared to even a few years ago. Social media is a game changer. The hashtag #MeToo movement. Massive. And we're way more aware of mental health now.
Right. All that's had a huge impact.
Audiences are savvier, they're more critical, and they're not afraid to call out bad behavior.
So there's a higher standard for celebrities now. Like, they're expected to be better.
I think so. It's not just about their talent anymore. People want them to be role models on screen and off.
But does that make it harder for them to, I don't know, make mistakes, to learn?
That's the tricky part. We need accountability, but we also need, like, room for growth.
Yeah, redemption.
Exactly. Celebrities mess up, just like everyone else. But the question is, what do they do after?
So it's not just about calling them out.
No, it's about creating a space for real change, for people to own up to their mistakes and actually become better.
Yeah, that's a tough balance, isn't it?
It is. But I think it's possible when someone really shows they want to change, that they get it, that they're trying to make things right.
Then forgiveness, redemption, all of that becomes possible.
Exactly. It's hopeful, right? Even when things get messed up, there's still a way back.
I like that. So looking ahead, what do you think? What kind of impact will these scandals have on Bollywood in the long run?
They've been tough, no doubt. Painful, even. But they've also forced the industry to change, to face some hard truths.
So it's not just about exposing the bad stuff.
Nope. It's about learning from it, building a better future for everyone in Bollywood.
A future with more respect, where people feel safe and valued.
Yes. And I think these scandals, as hard as they were, they've pushed the industry in that direction.
That's good to hear. Well, we've covered a lot today. Sting operations, heartbreak, loss. We really went deep into these scandals that rocked Bollywood.
We did. And they weren't just juicy stories, were they?
No, they went way deeper than that. They showed us something about human nature, about our obsession with fame, about the good and the bad that comes with it.
It's like we peeled back the curtain, saw what's really going on behind the glitz and glam.
Exactly. And I think ultimately these stories make us question our own choices, the things we value, what kind of world we want to live in. And not just in the entertainment world, but in our own lives too.
It's a good reminder for sure.
Yeah, it is. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'll leave you with this. We live in a world where everyone's got a voice, where the line between our public and private lives is blurry. So what's our responsibility? How do we create a culture where people are held accountable, where empathy and respect matter? That's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.